Best of luck.
Yes, good luck with that. Now, a survey out today reveals that 25% of adults claim to have had a ghostly encounter. That translates into 11 million people.
Well, it's certainly true that a lot of us love a good old ghost story, and the final part of ITV1's spooky drama Marchland is this evening, and it's had us all on the edge of our seats.
Oh, stop it! The idea of ghosts has always divided opinion, and we've been running an online poll, and 83% of you who took part believe in ghosts, while 17% don't. Well, we also asked you to send in your spooky pictures, and we were overwhelmed. We've sent them off to be analysed, and helping us to unravel the findings are paranormal expert Barrie John and psychologist Chris French.
Well, Chris has been here before, and you're born to be cynical.
Sceptical, Phillip. There's a difference.
I think you might be my best friend.
Is your level of belief 0?
No, because that would not be being a true sceptic. You're always going to be open to the possibility you might be wrong. The idea is show us the evidence, convince us.
OK, well, let's start with... the 1959 pick. Let's have a look at this famous picture. Mabel Chinnery, visiting the grave of her mother in a British churchyard, took a photo of her husband, who was waiting alone in the car, and when the film was developed, she recognised the image of her mother in the back seat, the woman whose grave they had visited on that day. A photo expert examined it for a British newspaper and declared the photo to be authentic.
Wow.
Very good. I like that one.
So that's a good one to start with. So we know that they've said it's authentic. It hasn't been tampered with in any way. So let's have a look at some ones that have been sent in. This is closed-circuit TV footage taken in a pub. Now, this is 250 years old now. It shows 2 orbs.
Where?
Watched it. I think that's the lady behind the bar at the moment. Those are the substantial orbs.
There you go.
Where are they?
Here. Is that it?
No, that was the glass just falling off.
So, where are the orbs?
Get ready.
No, that's the glass.
That's the glass falling off.
Hang on a second. But,
You've got to be able to see it if it's an example. So they're going to go... Let's go back to the beginning of it again and have a... Which orb
And it's
are we
in this
looking
corner
at?
here.
Very brief.
Oh, I see. Oh, for goodness sake. Are you joking? I mean, you know, I'm prepared to believe anything, but that's a bit of dirt on the lens, isn't it?
But that's what we talk about when we talk about orbs. I have a belief that spirit can manifest itself, but when we see it in that form, is it dust? Is it a spirit presence? What is it? And I think that's what we've got to consider.
You've got to
look
be
for proof.
stretched really tight to believe that could be a spirit presence, haven't you?
We do, because we have to think, is that camera lenses? Is it dust on the camera? Is it dust in front of the camera?
But also, the glass is falling off. I mean, I've worked in pubs, and when the music's going, music vibrations can make glasses fall off. The wet where you've dropped a drink and the wet can make the glass shoot across the table.
And wet shelves, for
And
instance.
wet shelves, exactly.
I think what you're saying is just illustrates the fact that if people really want to believe, then the evidence can be extremely flimsy. You know,
well, that's Summer Lancaster in Newbury. Sorry, Summer, but I'm not buying that one. But let's go for Sally Bolton. Sally's in Rotherham.
Okay.
This is a picture that was taken last year in the back corner. There, look at that now. You can see a figure standing there. This is apparently a lady who is said to have hung herself in the attic.
Oh, stop it, stop it, stop it. I don't like it.
It's great. Look at it. You can see the face, you can see the shoulders,
you
can see the neck.
I don't
You
like
can
it.
also what looks
really
like a bit
is.
of a noose on there as well, isn't there? There's just is there like a little bit of a bit
Stop!
of that?
I can't
Is it a
look at
noose
that.
or a necklace?
I think
It could be a necklace.
You can read an awful lot into it. I mean, clearly there's something there, something that when the person took the picture, they didn't see it.
Get a bit funny. I don't like it.
Really bad.
Really
You are
bad.
really bad.
But I don't think you can deny that there is something there. There is a facial feature there. You can see the eyes, you can see the nose, the mouth, and you can see the shoulders and the neckline.
Go. You can't do that. I can't sit over here. No, she's gone out. She has actually left. This is the first time anyone's walked out the studio since I've been here, and it's my co-host.
That is a really interesting reaction, but it just shows the power that these kinds of ideas
She's
have
been
over
saying
people.
all morning she doesn't like it, and you can't make someone not like it just because it's on the telly. So that is quite a spooky look. So your thoughts on this?
My thoughts on that are that it's realistic, that there is a presence in that room, or there's a presence there in that photograph. I would love to have been there when it happened, because I'm a big believer that you've got to be there, you've got to realise what's happening and feel the energy as a medium. That's what you've got to do.
This one's from Becky. A close inspection, you can see there are two faces in the window. One really clear that looks like a clown. See, clowns are quite frightening anyway, aren't they? They can be for some people. Some people have phobias of clowns. And a picture taken seconds earlier, and there is nothing in the window behind. So what's the explanation there, then?
It could be a lot of things. I mean, for one thing, it could be a reflection of something that was actually in the room.
But they'd know that, wouldn't they?
Not necessarily. This is the whole point. And
how can you not know there's a clown in the sitting room?
Believe me, there's a wonderful experiment which is used an awful lot, where you show a video clip of people throwing a ball back and two to each other, and they're told to count the number of times that the ball is passed. Halfway through, someone in a gorilla suit walks on right through the middle of the scene, stops for a few seconds, beats the chest, and then walks off. 50% of people don't notice it because they're not paying attention to it. And a lot of these photographs have got a similar kind of explanation.
Your explanation here?
My explanation of that, I think that there's possibly something in the room. As to being a clown, a little bit sort of sceptical about that. I think if there is a vision there, I'd go with a normal person, not a clown.
And this picture, apparently this next one, from Fionn in Wrexham, taken in the woods in Wrexham. Notice how the mist surrounds my daughter. To clarify, there was no mist on this day at all. There was no condensation in my camera. I checked. We've never ventured back into these woods just in case, as they do have something of a history.
How spooky is that one? Right. I do hundreds of ghost hunts around the country, Phil, and this one really fascinates me because we see this a lot. Now, looking at that, in two cases we've got orbs in the background. We've also got some little spots that could be rain or moisture. Then we've got this big cloud of mist. So is it somebody's breath? Is it a presence forming? The one thing I would have liked to have seen there would have been a collection of photographs to actually say, stage one, this is what you had, stage two, this is what you had.
So when we're taking family pictures, we so seldom ever do that.
Yeah.
Because you only realise what you've got until you've developed your pictures.
Exactly, and on any event, when I do a paranormal event, I like people to constantly take pictures so we can see that effect.
Well, now with digital cameras, we can, of course, and you get that instant result, whereas if you didn't have to wait, you used to have to take it down the chemist and see what you'd got. What do you think about that?
It's breath. it's breath.
Let's talk to Samantha. Samantha, what you got in the hub?
It's no fun without Holly being there to scare.
I know.
Right, we've got loads of stories. Now, this one is quite typical. This is from Nikki in Reading. She's at home in bed, falling asleep. She saw the figure in the corner of her eye of a man in a top hat. Now, she didn't feel scared, and she later was shown a picture of her great-granddad, who she's never seen before, and he was wearing a top hat, and she wants to know whether it could have been him.
I believe it's a grandfather. I believe that spirit come to us when we're in a sleep state, when we're in a dream state, and they're trying to connect with us during that time. The one thing I always say is that during that time we've got no barriers or boundaries that we can push them away with. So 100% I would say it's a grandfather.
I'd say it was sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis is a very common experience. Lots of people just drifting off into sleep or coming out of sleep. They see things, they hear things that aren't there. The idea that this figure appeared to have a top hat could just be a coincidence. That's what makes it such a kind of a story that you've featured on the telly, because it's...
Why do most ghosts that we see appear to be medieval? Or, you could have a Tudor ghost, or the Elizabethan ghosts, and a Victorian ghost, but they're never from 1975.
But they can be, because it's people's perception of it. Again, we get ghosts and spirits. What's the difference? When we talk about a ghost, we talk about a video recording. When we talk about a spirit, we talk about a living form still. So we have had it on events where people can be from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, very recent spirits.
So what is a ghost?
The difference between a ghost and a spirit, a ghost is a video recording. It's something that's happened over time and it's just left an impression in that building.
Hallucinations. Basically, the interesting thing is that most hallucinations are actually of living people. They're not ghosts, and it couldn't be possibly misinterpreted as ghosts. But obviously, if you hallucinate and the thing you hallucinate appears to be more similar to a dead person that you know, well, you think you've seen a ghost.
Thank you, guys, very much indeed. We are back after the break with Westlife. Oh no!